tree. We gather around the table with family. From the farm to the plate, it's a journey we share. Eating meat for health with love and care. Oh, the strength in every bite, healing humanity with the bounty of the land. We find our unity in the fields and the pastures where the cattle roam, eating meat for health. It feels like home. The sun rises high on the rolling hills, where the livestock graze and the air is still. With every meal we share, there's a story to tell of healing and health where our hearts dwell.
Righto.
Oh, the strength in every bite, healing humanity with the bounty of the land. We find our unity in the fields and the pastures where the cattle roam, eating meat for the ranchers to the cooks. It's a circle of life, bringing nourishment and joy through every slice. With the wisdom of the ages and the earth's embrace, we find healing and health in every taste.
Righto. Welcome,
Nice.
everybody. Welcome. This is Meet the Plate of Possibility. And today we have Thomas, Target Prime Rib. Am I right, Thomas?
Yes, Target Prime Rib.
So, to all the riblets, am I still right? Welcome. So, yeah. Thank you, Thomas, for taking time out to come and join me in an interview with you to tell us your story, basically, about how your plate changed your life, enriched your life, basically, or empower your life. So, before we begin, Thomas, here we go. I'm so nervous, Thomas, you know. I know that I don't know how you feel over there, but I'm so nervous. Yeah, it's my first interview in a long time. But yeah, I hope the sound is okay for everybody. There's no noises on it. We're loud enough. So let's just start. All right. So Thomas,
you're making me hungry with all that steaks behind you.
So delicious. I can't wait to eat one after this, you know. Just take it
I have
from
a steak
there.
ready to go.
Just take it from
there.
So Thomas, just tell us, how's life going for you right now? Any recent highs and cool moments you like to kick off before we go into your story?
I mean, everything's going pretty well, especially with these, all this community, the carnivore community, that's out there, like I've said before, on my videos and stuff like that, I've been carnivore for a while. It's just, I don't consider myself full carnivore until I joined until I joined you guys, until I became a part of this,
Of the community.
so the carnivore family, I guess you could call it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry for popping up the comments so quickly.
No, I love it because I'm seeing so many familiar names.
Yeah.
You
you
got
wanna give
Lori here, Sandy,
Yeah.
I just saw.
got-
It's
We got Granny Boo.
Granny Boo, I mean, you gotta
Right.
love it.
You
And
got
I gotta try that carnivore bacon.
so Thomas, are you a booby
New
goater? Are you a booby
Sharon,
goater? Are you a booby
Booby
goater?
Goat, and
Are
she's
you
the
a
reason why. She's the reason why it's the riblets.
Okay.
It was her suggestion, and I went with it.
Now we got somebody from my work also here, popping in saying hi. She's
Hi, Lucy.
working with me, so that's Lucy. Yeah, we are family. Right, so Thomas, let's kick it off. Let's
Okay.
hear your carnivore story. Let's hear how you started your journey. Where did it all start? The whole detail. We got
Um, I
enough time.
mean, yeah. It's kind of a. I guess it's kind of an interesting story. At least I'm finding out that people are more interested in it than I thought. Um, I started. I About a few years ago, I found out about 20 years ago. I found out I was type 2 diabetic, and I was sort of told that doing the Atkins diet would actually help me. But at that time, you kind of like, no, I can't. I have to have my veg. I have, like according to the doctor, I need to kind of control my carbs, not get rid of them.
Mm.
And so it's basically what I did. So I didn't really go Atkins. I kind of like tried to do it a little bit, but only because I love bacon and eggs. So it's like, okay, I'll do it for the bacon and eggs.
Yeah,
I mean, who doesn't love bacon and eggs? I mean, I know some people
exactly.
don't,
Yes.
but if they don't like bacon, I'll take their bacon. But you know, and I was fine at first. But how I found out I was diabetic is on my way. I used to work nights I used to do my job used to be working with tuxedos, like renting tuxedos out,
Mm.
and selling them and everything like that. And I did that for 25 years. And
Mm.
after a while, I became like the guy that would actually, hem the pants, hem the jacket, you know, and do the whole celebration. So I actually did the house and I was on my way home. I was next to my own store. I was on my way home. I went to Burger King, and I got two. At that time, they had a thing called supersizing, and I got two supersized chicken meals, and then one junior Whopper, a Hershey Sundae pie, and a supersized Dr Pepper. Go home, have all this stuff, and about a few hours later, I have a pain in my left arm going
Wow.
right down, like and I didn't, it didn't seem right, really right to me. So I thought, I heard that if you have a pain in your left arm, it could be an indication of a heart attack. So I just was like, okay, I don't know if it's that or not, but I don't want to take any risks. So I went to the hospital, and they did an EKG, and nothing was wrong. My heart was
Mm.
fine. But then when I told the nurse what I ate, she right away did a blood sugar check on me. They weren't going to before I said, if I didn't say anything, but they
Mm.
did a blood sugar check, and my sugars went to 395.
Wow.
So fast forward a little bit, they had me go to I went to an endocrinologist, and believe it or not, my primary doctor's like, well, let's do it again, because you never know, you might not be diabetic. And my
Ah.
endocrinologist at that time was like, at 395, you're definitely diabetic. Like, it's not like just a little bump in your number; it's a huge bump.
Wow.
So I obviously was told I'm diabetic completely. So fast forward a few years later,
Mm-hmm.
I actually worked for a car dealership, and I was selling a car to somebody, and I was walking around the lot, and my foot gave out.
Hmm.
And I was always having problems with my feet, with like tight shoes and stuff like that. But nothing like that. Like, it just kind of like, I thought maybe I stepped on something or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
but the pain was like pretty intense. So luckily, I had just gotten a podiatrist. I mean, it was like luck of fate, I guess you could say. Like, maybe like a week before that, I actually got a brand new podiatrist.
Mm.
And I went to him, and ended up that I didn't realize it, but ended up my bottom of my foot was like totally like destroyed, you know.
Wow.
So I ended up having to go into the hospital at that time, and got some IV, and the antibiotic they used was vancomycin. At that time, I didn't have a PICC line; I had just a regular IV, and vancomycin was so powerful it actually blew. Like every like twice a day, I would have to get a new IV because it would actually blow the blood vessels, you
Wow.
know, because it's that powerful, you know. So so obviously, when I had to do it again later, I actually had a PICC line in. Now, if I don't know if you know what a PICC line is, but if there are people that don't know what a PICC line is, it's basically, imagine an IV,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and you're going like from the like around here, and you
Mm.
take it and you go up the arm, and
Okay.
it goes about this close to your heart, and it's a little bit of a stronger tube, like a little bit of a thicker tube. I guess you could say a plastic. I guess you could say, but it stays near the heart and stays there for about 6 to 8 weeks. So that's pretty much what I had to do, you know. And there's just many times I had to do the PICC line, and I had to do them in there was one time I did an outpatient with the PICC line, and then there was the most of the time it was inpatient in the rehab.
Mm.
You know, I mean, the only good thing about PICC line is when you get an IV, you still have to get pricked again for blood. Well, the PICC line they can take from that, so you never have, like, once you get it in, you shouldn't have to get it ever again. I mean, that's not a really good silver lining, but it's a better silver lining than
Yeah.
um, so I did that and ended up I had a diabetic foot ulcer that developed into a big hole in my foot. Had you know had all the things, but the two more important stories is about a year, almost 2 years later, and this whole time my mom was still alive, you know, and but when she passed away in 2021. About a year after she passed away, um, my left foot, no, my right foot, that was my left foot. My right foot started to have issues, and I first started off having to get my big toe removed.
Mm.
Had that removed, and took about 3 months to heal in the rehab and everything like that. Now, don't expect me to be able to eat good, but at that time I wasn't really carnivore. Still, I was like,
Mm.
I was sort of in the thought process of like meat will help me, but there were still foods that or still things in my head that kind of kept me from going full force. And that's kind of why I think community is so important, because without
Mm.
that, you can't get out of your own head.
Mm.
And yeah, I love the shirt too. And and he you know, so you get out of your own heads, but it took like about that long to heal. And I actually started back to work again. I was working for where I'm actually going to be working now, Quick Check.
Wow.
It was like just like a few hours a week, you know. And I wanted to be able to work more, so I asked the doctor. I said to him, you know, and he's sort of like, I don't think he meant to sell me off, like to mislead me, but it ended up he kind of did, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't think he did
Yeah.
it I don't
Yeah.
think he did it vindictively. Let's put it that way.
Mm.
And I mean, I still go to him. He's a very nice guy, you know. I mean, he's corrected, you know. But I go to him and I say to him, I say, you know, doctor, I want to be able to work more. I'm still kind of feeling sick all the time. I go to the hospital every once in a while to get checked up, and I get sent right back home and all that stuff. What can I do? What do I need to do to correct this problem?
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
his answer was, you need to remove the other four toes.
No
They're
ways.
they need, well, that's what I ended up doing, you know.
Wow.
But he you know, and he's like, but I said, yeah, but the other one took 3 months. How long will four toes take, you know? And he looked at me, he goes, well, it won't take that long because we're going to just do a straight stitch right across, and it's just the healing of the stitch.
Mm-mm.
And I'm like, he's like, yeah, it'd probably be about like 4 to 6 weeks. I'm like, and I automatically added another like 4 weeks to that. So I'm like, okay, so no more than 3 months. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I think I can handle not working and just doing. I think we could probably figure something out.
Mm.
So I approved it because I'm like, okay, you know, and he he did the operation. And the thing is, it was, I mean, sorry if I disgust anybody here. I apologize ahead of time, but it ended up staying open and looked like a hamburger, like raw burger meat, for almost 2 years, for like at least a year and a half. And they had to keep it open, and just like wrap the stitch and everything like that. And I used what was called a wound vac, which is
Mm.
pretty much like a thing that goes over the wound. It's like a sponge that goes over the wound, and there's like a tube, and it's hooked to a machine, and it literally sucks. And I guess it
Mhm.
helps. It helps speed up the process of the growth tissue and everything.
Mm.
And you had to go about on and off and on and off it because you can't stay on it for too long. So so I did that, and eventually the foot healed. Now, fast forward again, about a year ago. Now this whole time, like when my mom passed away, I had a really toxic roommate, so I didn't get any help from anybody during this
Okay.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, because you're all on your own.
yeah, she
Mm.
actually, she not only was I on my own, but she would drink like 30 cans of beer a day, and she decided like 5 months in, like 5 months towards the end, she decided to quit her job, and her answer to me was, "Well, you get disability, so I don't need to pay you." I'm like, yeah, you
Oh,
do.
wait. Wait.
It don't work that way,
Yeah, don't work that way.
and you know, but I digress with her. You can ask me any question you want, but I'm just saying, and so I went right after my foot was like mostly healed at this point. I'm using a wheelchair the whole time because I'm supposed to be offloading. And there was a time when both feet, because my heel problem on my left foot
Mm.
happened again like about 2 3 more times. So they actually had to go in and take away bone out of the heel too. Like I have about 25% of my bone taken out from my left heel.
Mm-hmm.
So all these times going into the hospital, I must have been through surgery at least 7 times total with the amputations and everything like that, which is 7 times too much if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I went into the hospital, you know, and many of you guys probably know this story, but I went to the hospital with a bad pain. All right, and I go in there, and they gave me a pain pill. They gave me an IV of Tylenol. I think it was Tylenol. They gave me an IV of Tylenol, saying, "Oh, the IV will go through your system more, and you should feel a lot better." I'm like, okay. I go to them. I'm like, I don't feel any better. I mean, there's one part of me that felt a little bit better, but like I still felt a lot of pain. And
Mm.
the nurse actually goes to me, "Well, we can't do anything now because we already discharged you, so you have to come back tomorrow." And I'm
Wow.
thinking to myself, I'm thinking to myself, like it might have been a little bit too dramatic, I don't know, but I'm thinking to myself, what if I was having a heart attack? Would you say to me, "Well, come back tomorrow. We discharged you right now, so if you're having a heart attack still tomorrow, come back tomorrow." You know,
Mm. Yeah.
really? You know,
It's like, wow.
like I'm already there. Like, why don't you figure out what the problem is?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the pain meds didn't work. Obviously, it's something else. So
Mm.
why don't we do something? I'm already here. Like why? But
Why are you
so I
chasing me
went
out?
home, and about 2 days later, and I was not. I mean, this is carnivore, so I guess we could do a little bathroom talk. I wasn't going to the bathroom for like 4 days at this point. So I didn't really know about about a lot of people on carnivore don't, and I wasn't really carnivore yet
Mm-hmm.
completely, but still I didn't go for like 4 days. And so I told the doctor this time, second time around, and she gave me a prescription for a laxative, right? But they looked at my foot too, because my foot wasn't fully healed, it was just mostly healed. So they took a look at my foot, they unwrapped me. My back is really, really bad, so I can't bend down, I can't do anything. Ended up, I waited for about at least 16 hours. I asked them if I could get my foot wrapped, and I needed to go to the bathroom. Okay, I was like, oh, I think I need to go to the bathroom now. Ended up I didn't, but I thought I did. And it took 60. I ended up having to wrap my foot myself, right? As badly as it was, because you have the bad back. I mean, it's hard to wrap a foot when you have a bad back.
Mm.
Okay, and I had to find my way to the bathroom. Like put myself in, like get the wheelchair, pull myself into the wheelchair because at that time I was in a gurney. Luckily, there was a wheelchair right there. The bad wheelchair was broken, but I still had to find my way into there. Then I went from the wheelchair. Went from the wheelchair to the bathroom, used it, got through it, and all that stuff. And I went back and I stayed in the wheelchair because I'm like, okay, I can't get to the gurney. This is, it was too painful. So about an hour, 2 hours later, a security guard comes, takes me in the wheelchair, right? And I saw the doctor pointing to me, but I didn't know what that was about. Takes me in the wheelchair, wheels me outside, and says, okay, it's time to go now. We'll see you. Doesn't give me any discharge papers, literally kicks me out of the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's unbelievable. Yeah.
obviously, like I'm a very, I try not to, I'm a very quiet person,
Hmm.
for the most part. But if you screw me over enough times, I will raise my voice, So I called up the complaint department, made the complaint. I had to call twice because once a voicemail, and then I got a hold of them.
Mm.
And I made the complaint and everything like that. Well, right before my birthday, the day before my birthday is September 20th, so on the 19th of September, a third time I went in. I was so bad this time, I had to be helped from my apartment with an EMT, and I could not even move out of the bed. I could hardly get up.
Wow.
Okay. I was like pretty much pretty paralyzed like literally they had people had to pull me up because I was sliding down and everything.
I understand
And
that. Yeah.
I was like that for a little over a month. Okay. In the rehab and stuff.
Hmm.
And I mean, I'd be able to do, but it was really painful. And this time the doctor gave me an MRI. He gave me CAT scan. He did everything. And the MRI found that I had an infection in my spine, a MRSA infection right inside my spine.
Wow.
And that's what was causing it was deteriorating basically. And that's what was causing the pain in my back. Now I'm fine now. I got the antibiotics. It brought things back, and everything like that. And when I say slowly, like I wasn't fully carnivore, I was slowly becoming it. Like I would be like carnivore for a long time, and then something would happen. Either I'd get depressed. Now I live right above a chocolate shop.
Hmm.
Of all things for a carnivore to live above, I live right above a chocolate shop, and they're actually pretty nice to me, and they're pretty friendly. So I get coffee there all the time, but when I was kind of like depressed and everything, like I would get like an Oreo cookie. It wasn't anything. It wasn't something huge. It was just, obviously it was just still big enough to make it different. Do something. But it wasn't
Yeah.
like I got like a large chocolate cake or anything like that.
Yeah.
Even though they
Got it.
have that. And so, and I still get coffee from there. Like now I'm at a point where I can go into the chocolate shop, and I never get tempted. I know, it's like, oh, that's pretty colors. Like I like the colors, but that's about it. But I also think to myself, like, I don't know, like I don't think so because I don't like what it's going to do to me. So I already got a preview of my possibilities. I don't need any more.
Yeah.
Like
Awesome.
it's like when you see like you ever see like some of those movies and you see the previews and you're like, I don't know if I really want to watch that movie. The preview kind of told me everything. So
Yeah.
I mean, some you actually do want to watch, but there are some of those movies that are like, yeah, okay.
Well, I would say you don't want to sequel, don't want a rerun of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So same here. I don't want reruns. I just
I mean,
want perfect
I
movies.
remember a movie with I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but I remember Sister Act 2, where the one nun is like, I don't need to bite the donut in order to know it's sweet. so I don't need to bite the cake anymore
Exactly.
to know what it tastes like.
Yeah.
You know? And so I had the infection. Put me in a wheelchair. So I've been in a wheelchair. I've used a knee scooter. I've had a walker. I've had a cane. Up until about 4 months ago, I could not go down the stairs. 4 or 5 months ago, I could not go down the stairs. I had special boots, and whenever I'd wear the boot and I try to step up on it, I'd fall. So
Sure.
yeah, so like I couldn't do stairs for quite a while, and it kind of hurt my balance too. Like even now, I go up and down stairs now, but I'm very careful about it because
Hmm.
I mean the thing is I'm getting better every day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I mean I think I've lost some weight. I'm hoping right now my why became, and I think we can all agree with this. My why was to get my A1C to like at least 5.4, and and everything. And I don't know where it is right now, but my last check, because of the holidays and everything like that, was 8.9. That's my baseline right now. It
Mhm.
was 7.2, but it went up because of the holidays. Now I've been doing this for the past 3 months. It's going to be 3 months on April 1st. So I know, kind of ironic, it's April Fool's Day, but
Yeah.
but the thing is, it started on January 1st. So a new year, new me.
Exactly.
So
Awesome.
so I basically I'm trying. Sometimes I lose train of thought. Like I guess that's one thing that's going to take a while to. Yeah. I basically.
Yeah, you were speaking about your why and your
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I knew I was
and
speaking
your
of. I just
three
forgot the
months
last
coming
word I
up. Yeah,
said.
and your 3 months coming up and looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to so much prosperity and everything like that. And I'm getting better every day.
That's awesome.
And I have some family that will argue with me. I have some people I know in my life that will argue with me. Oh, you need this, you need that, you need this. And I look at him like, well, don't you think I'm improving in some ways? And he goes, oh, in many ways. Well, then why are you telling me to change that? Like why? Like if what I'm doing is working for me, I'm not saying that you have to do what I'm doing.
Exactly.
you know but why are you arguing? Like I had one guy twice, he affected me. The first time he was like until I had to leave I was outside, so until I had to leave the scene, he was forcing me to eat chicken wings with barbecue sauce and everything. He's like, oh,
Oh,
you could do that. It was like practically like 1 week into me starting this. He's like, oh, you could do this. I'm like, I really want to do what I'm doing. I don't want to jeopardize it. you
mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
like leave me alone.
Yeah.
And he just kept on pushing. And then the second time, he actually knocks on my door in the apartment and has a large pizza and tries to get me to take a large pizza that he bought. Why did
Mm.
like, oh, and I spent all this money on this pizza. Well, why did you spend? You know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
He's like, well, we're friends. I'm like, no, we're not friends, because my friend would not do that to me.
Exactly.
Even if they
Exactly.
disagreed with me, they wouldn't force food I don't want to eat on down me.
Mm.
They might go to me and say, "Hey, I feel like you should have more vegetables and stuff like that," or this or that, which is fine. They're entitled to their opinion and their thought, but they
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't like take the vegetable and like put it on my plate.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So I mean,
That's so wrong.
I think we all have had crazy people like that. I mean, I would hope that that's not true, but I'm sure we have had crazy
Yeah.
people
No, it's
like
true. For me, same. It's true.
that. Yeah.
We're
I'm
gonna
sure
make it.
everybody on this chat too is
Yeah.
able to.
You get those people that is like wanting you to have that mistake. They
Right.
want you.
Right.
You get that people, and for me, if I look at my journey, they were more astonished with what I said to them. Is like, no, you do you, I do me. That was my words, and this is the way I do me. Meat, salt, and water. That's how I start. That's how
Yeah.
my journey started, and the mindset is so important in that regard as well, because I was focusing like yourself my health is more important at
Yeah.
the moment. Yeah,
Yeah. And when you see the improvements, it's like you tend to keep going.
exactly.
That's why I always say you need to look at the small, like even the most minuscule improvement. You need to
Mm,
look at that because if you overlook that, that's where a lot of people go wrong. You
mm,
need to look at every improvement. And the only thing, and anybody that's out here that disagrees with me, I'm sorry, but the only why that I think needs a second why that does can't really stand on its own is weight loss. You
mm.
know, because I do agree with
Agree.
Dr. Kiltz that the fact that like our bodies, right, when they're going through a healing process, a lot of times the fat, well, the fat in our bodies will help with the healing, and I do agree with that concept. So I mean, one of the things I find funny with the other people and everything like that is how much they're insulting God. Like I believe in God. I'm not like super religious, so and
Mm,
I'm not like church goer or anything like that. But I believe that God wasn't stupid, and I believe that God knew what He was doing when He created us. And
exactly.
it was like we're like like He created the perfect people, even though we've been destroyed by all this crap and everything like that. But in a way, they're sort of saying like God does not know what He's doing. I
Mhm.
mean, look at cholesterol alone. I mean, we put such like such a demonization's put on cholesterol, you know, but yet if I understand this correctly, and if I'm wrong, I apologize again. But from what I hear, I think it was Dr. Kiltz, the liver makes about 70% cholesterol to go
Mm,
throughout the body to help with the brain function, to help with all this stuff. If if God was like an idiot, and I'm sure God knows what I'm talking about. If God was an idiot, he would not, the cholesterol thing, like why would he do that? Why would he create something that hurts us?
exactly. Yeah. No,
You know,
I agree with you, Thomas. When I look also on the religious side, then I would say for my journey it was a prayer that went out and God showed me the truth. That's why I would normally say to people, the truth shall set you free. The truth was for me the carnivore diet, and it just from that day onward, I just see improvements in my life. So it just goes to show that yes, like you say, God has created us a miraculous being, um, and this cholesterol thing that they want to try to kill. Sorry, man. God
yeah,
created that in me.
all those perfect people.
Yeah. So yeah. So Thomas, I've also seen that you've basically mentioned in your other interviews about Doctor Ken Berry.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. So how did he influence you? Let's get to
Um,
that point.
well, I, I I don't I don't really want to say influenced. I kind of think influences, like I don't even consider, I don't really consider myself an influencer. If people do, thank you, but I don't really consider myself an influencer.
Mm,
But Dr. Barry was just, I just liked the way he was.
mhm.
My mom used to watch him with me too, as well as
Okay.
Bella. You know, it was just certain things that just, I don't know, there's something about Dr. Barry, especially at that time. Things have changed a little bit. Like he's still good. I still like the guy. I still love him. But at that time, he was, I don't know, he just seemed more like a country doctor. He was no frills. He just told you how it is.
Yeah.
And when he told his story about how he was the same doctor all these other doctors are. You see, I'm actually fascinated by all these doctors because you know I give them all great respect.
Mm,
Because think about how hard, first off, you're risking your license as a medical professional, you know, but think about how much courage it takes. All these doctors, Dr. Avelia, Dr. Barry, Dr. Baker, Dr. Chafee,
kills.
all these doctors,
Mm,
okay,
yeah.
and some of them are still in practice, which is amazing in itself, to say, you know what, the system is wrong. I'm getting tired of seeing all my patients getting worse. Some of you have been dying because of the suggestions we give them. I'm going to change, and you have to give some respect to those doctors.
Yeah,
You got to give a lot of
exactly.
respect to those doctors, And when my mom watched with me, she was actually very sick. She had metastatic breast cancer, and she was okay, for a while. And I say okay, that's probably the highest word I could say, And there were times when we actually went keto, and she actually improved quite a bit. The reason why she went off it, and this is why I say this thing about the weight, is the reason why she went off it was because she wasn't losing any weight. And that was her why. So because she wasn't losing any weight, she gave up. Even though she got less dizzy, she was able to walk up and down stairs. She was able to kick the walker, to the curb, basically. For about a month, she was doing really great. But then my sister thought she should go off keto. We were just keto at that time. It wasn't even carnivore. My sister thought she should go off keto, and that, and plus not losing the weight, convinced my mom to go off it. So then when she did that, then things started going into a downward spiral for her. Which is probably why I went carnivore for the most part, because, you see all these like improvements and you're thinking, like, for me, I think what made me do it more was as I was going along, I'm like, well, if this much meat will heal my foot, will help me heal with the collagen and all that stuff, then what if I eliminate as many vegetables as I can? What if I keep on doing? And like I said, the only thing that kept me going off it was like depression, or like you go to a family event or something like that, you don't want to disappoint anybody. Say you eat for that day or whatever, or whatever it is, like whatever's in the house, of their house. And which is April 20th is Easter, so I'm a little nervous about going to my sister's. I love my sister and I'm excited about going, but I'm a little nervous because I haven't had seen them for 3 months. So I've had the ability to just be on my own and just avoid everything. Now it's going to be right in front of me on a buffet, so I have some plans that I'm going to be doing that's going to hopefully help me. Like, one of the things I want to do is I'm going to take like at least four huge burgers, and I'm going to have them before I go there. I'm going to like really, really stuff myself, and then that way I won't be hungry enough to want to indulge in the sweets and stuff like that. I'll just eat the meats and stuff. But but Dr. Barry was I mean, I think my mom. I don't think she would have gone keto at all if it wasn't for Dr. Barry. If it wasn't for Dr. Barry, and again, shout out to Bella. I think, even though Bella and Dr. Barry were full carnivore, I mean, when we first watched Dr. Barry, he was actually keto. He wasn't carnivore yet. He was, when he announced, I thought he was a little crazy, but I'm not going to lie. And I think a lot of people thought he was a little crazy when he announced it, but he made good points, and, yeah, hopefully deviled eggs. I don't think so, though, Sandy. I'm the deviled egg person, not my sister. I'm not bringing anything to the plate. But and another person we watched too was, I don't remember him or not, but Bob Briggs. He did a channel called Butter Makes My Pants Fall Down.
Yes, I know him. He's one of the first people that I followed, because his
I
story
mean,
amazed
where
me.
he's gone, I have no idea. Like I haven't seen any videos of him or anything like that. I think he's still around, but I just haven't.
He's still around. I did some check last year, and they said he's still around, but not not on video or something, but on Facebook I got something.
Yeah, we
So,
loved him. I mean, to me
yeah.
at that time, he was sort of like, I mean, religious wise, no, he's very religious and everything like that. But I would say he sort of has that, like, I don't know, that old world charm, like Mitch does, from Old Guy Carnivore.
Yeah.
Like, he just has that like no frills personality. different beliefs, different outtake, but still, But, so I think my mom would have loved Mitch,
Mm.
it's a shame that what happened to him, but, like Mitch is strong and he's getting through it,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah, we're all praying for Mitch to get
Yeah.
through
I mean,
this.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you saw it or not. I'm sure the video I did on Mitch, I did like kind of like a get well video card when he first went into the hospital and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I sent it to Mitch, and Mitch actually said to me that he actually had tears in his eyes from it, which is
Awesome.
a pretty good honor,
Awesome.
So, but he's getting pretty good,
Yeah.
you know, and
So, let's just get on with the next question. Oh, wait,
sure,
wait, wait,
sure. Yeah,
wait,
I tend to
wait.
babble, so if you need to shut me up, just tell me.
No, 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 no. Let's. This question is also on my list, so I'm gonna pop it on the screen. From Lori, that's asked Tom, how do you feel on a daily basis now? Your energy, your sleep, your digestion, your mood. Give us some
um,
appetizing moments
right.
there.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, Lori. I have my good days and my bad days, which I think everybody does. But my sleep's actually pretty good. Right now, I'm dealing with a pain in my shoulder, so it's the only it seems like to be my automatic to sleep on. So it's just one of those things. But I'm not taking any. I took like some Advil yesterday, and that was like the first time I've had Advil in about like four months now. So I did take some Advil. Um, my energy is actually pretty good. But the problem with my energy though is my body is still learning to catch up. So my energy is actually so much higher than my body will allow. So like I'll like be like, oh, I want to go and I want to get out of here and I want to and I want to move, and then I go and I'm like, here I go, here I move, which is a good thing because I'm still moving, but everything's improving. Everything's improving so much. My digestion's a lot better than it used to be. I used to have I had gastroparesis, and I had to take a thing called omeprazole. And one of the things that being on this diet did was about a month into it, I actually stopped taking the omeprazole, and I haven't been on it since February 8th, or no, February 6th. I stopped taking the omeprazole, and I still have not taken any omeprazole. So it has actually improved that. Um, Mood is getting a lot better. I actually used to see a counselor because of because of different things, because of my roommate and stuff like that, and my toes and all that stuff. So obviously I got depressed. I was pretty depressed, and I would see her about in the beginning. I'd see her like twice a week. Then it went to once a week, and then once every 2 weeks. Now it's once a month. So it's getting less and less. And I'll be honest with you, I think I'm getting to a point where I'm getting more of a carnivore calm. So I don't even think I need to see her once a month. I think it's just a matter of time before I can just be like, okay, I'll call you if I absolutely need you, but let's just do an on-call basis, basically, um, or even further than that. But I'm doing pretty good, Lori. Every day I get better and better. Every day I get better and better. And there's so many things I use to help support me, whether it's within me or whether it's within the community, and I think that helps me stay strong.
Awesome. So Thomas, how does your daily eating plan look like? Do you fast or do you
Okay. So I
or
kind
s-
of go on and off. Right now, I'm doing what's called an ADF. For anybody that doesn't know what that is, alternate day fasting. So
okay?
I eat and I fast. So obviously, you know what kind of meals I have when I'm fasting, because I think you can do the math on that one. I mean, I still drink water, and I still will have black coffee during the fast, but the black coffee is probably as high as it goes.
Mm.
Um, when I'm feasting, I'll eat more. Today I had for breakfast I had a it was a small steak, so it was like a 1 pound steak, and I had it. It was pretty rare. Okay. I cook it from frozen. I cook it for like 20 minutes. I didn't feel like cleaning the air fryer, so I just cooked it. I cooked it in the oven real quick, and I did that, and then I cooked some bacon. One of the great things my sister got me was this great big huge ceramic pan that I could like cook a lot of
Mhm.
bacon. So I cooked some bacon, and I actually cooked for my roommate too. So I actually cooked for myself and for him. He still hasn't eaten yet, but I cooked the bacon, so then I wouldn't
Yeah.
have to worry about that. I pre-cooked everything. He just puts it in the microwave and just does. I tried helping him with like getting as close to a keto diet as I can. Not that
Yeah.
he's keto or carnivore, and um, and I'm not trying to force my opinion on him. I'm just trying to help him. As much I'm trying to help him in the ways I got helped.
Yeah.
And I and then I also had 3 eggs. You know, and I know I could probably have more, but I with the egg thing and everything like that, I have to kind of budget the eggs. And I basically, that was my breakfast. I
Mm.
have a large um, chuck roast
Mm.
that I'm going to be cooking for my second meal. And then if I finish all that, then I will cook another steak for a third meal. And that's my eating. Now, it ends up that they say, because I got all this from Coach Raymond.
Mm.
I did the priming
The
protocol
priming
with
thing,
him.
yeah. Huh?
Yeah, and if go back to my videos, it actually tells day by day for the first couple,
Yeah.
like 2 3
I saw
weeks.
those videos.
Yeah,
So I get
so
the
you
gist
saw
of what
all
you.
I was eating,
Yes.
and it was a lot, believe me.
Mm.
And but they actually suggest that when you do any kind of fasting protocol, ADF, anything like that, that it's going to kind of like become stagnant
Mm.
after a while, and the results aren't the same. So they suggest to do like afterwards to kind of get yourself back into the program to do like a mini prime. That one was like a month. I didn't do the second 2 months because they're all like, the Raymond suggested, because my blood sugars for some reason for those 2 weeks my sugars were like high.
Mm.
And anybody that knows me would know that the complaints I was making, they were like almost 300. And I was getting very worried. I'm not going to lie. Because my Y is the A1C. So obviously, if my sugars are high, I'm thinking my Y is being affected.
Yeah.
So, like if I was gaining weight, I wouldn't worry. I'd be like, okay, well, it's not my Y. So, I'm going to keep on going, But when your Y gets affected, that's why it's bad.
Yeah.
And so he suggested, once I was done with the priming, I finished the priming off. I finished the eating part of the priming off. And he suggested do an ADF as long as you can, you know. And I've been doing the ADF for about 3 weeks now.
Mm.
Maybe actually I would say as far as going 4 weeks, almost a month. And I found out yesterday that it is suggested that not for me personally, it was somebody else that was being given this advice, but then I asked, would that apply to me? Unfortunately, Raymond wasn't there, so I couldn't really ask him directly, or Dr. Phil Smith wasn't there.
Mm.
But um, but I asked, and they said, yeah, I think it would apply to you too. So what they're suggesting is to do what's called a mini prime,
Mm.
where for like 3-4 days at the most, you eat you eat the loads meals, you fill yourself up again, get the nutrients back into your body, and then you can start back over again. So I'm going to find out from him because I want to find out from Raymond first if he thinks that that's a good idea, because I'm willing to stay with ADF. I'm actually doing wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good doing the ADF, but if he thinks that to keep it working, to keep the engine running and stuff like
Mm.
that, that I should do a
Yeah.
mini prime, then I will do the mini prime. And I have like 3 boxes of 32 burgers in my freezer, so I have the food. I have a few steaks in there,
Mm-hmm.
um, and if I have to get other things to fill it up, like pork rinds and stuff like that, I'll do that. The other day I actually made it didn't look good, but
Mm.
the mozzarella sticks I made were pretty good. The only problem is all that it was so much grease
Mm.
from the cheese and everything like that, that it just, I don't know, it tasted better than it looked, I think, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I used the pork rind crumbs for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come, let's just answer a question here from Lori again.
Okay.
She's following you. Here we go.
Officially, no, Lori. But not because I don't like the hot sauce. I officially finished it, and I have no plans on buying any more. I only did that for the priming. It helps me eat more of the eggs. Then I use it for my eggs for the most part, and actually I use it for. I'm sorry, I also use it to put on my pork rinds too because I love the sound it makes when you put the hot sauce on the pork rinds. It
Hmm.
makes like a it. Even if you just want to experiment, if you actually take pork rinds and you put hot sauce on it, you'll hear a crackling sound. That's like kind of like bacon sizzling.
Let me just get to what Sandy said. Lori, I never ate hot sauce in my life. Now Thomas is me using it. There you go. Thomas influencing.
Well, I think we can agree. I nudged her into the hot sauce, right, Sandy?
Well, if she's doing it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she's
Yeah.
probably like thinking to herself, like, now he's stopping? Oh my god.
Sandy, my reflux would come charging back in a New York minute. Okay, you guys know that. I don't know what's a New York minute, but if even considered anything like that,
Yeah.
you
I
know the
mean, actually,
humor.
believe it or not, Lori, the hot sauce. I mean, I guess my reflux has gotten so much better now that the hot sauce doesn't really affect me anymore. So, but yeah, if your reflux is really bad, I would probably stay away from the hot sauce for right now. But I'll be honest with you, it wasn't that bad of hot sauce. It was like the most mild hot sauce that you could really do, even if it's that hot sauce. You know, I've had hotter.
I'm sure your digestion will improve even more without the hot sauce. There we
Yeah.
go. And then Sandy was now, thank you God for helping us afford this healing way. Exactly.
Here.
Yeah,
Amen.
yeah. So, Thomas, you just covered a lot of
No, you forced me, LOL.
um you covered like sort of all the questions, but there is still a few here. If you still have time, we got 6 minutes.
I have all the time you need.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
free. I'm free as a bird.
All right. So Thomas, you joined communities. All right. You said you've joined the Healing Humanity, the Oak Carnival, and then the what Bellas community, if I must say so.
FPG. Yep.
Yeah. So how for me, let's talk about Healing Humanity. How has Healing Humanity impacted your journey thus far?
Oh God. Well, I think healing humanity and all three of them have the main one is just people with like minds being there. You know, I mean, there are a few people in all the groups that are still new, are still like there because they're trying to learn, they question and
Mm-hmm.
everything like that. But it feels good too to be able to go to them and to and to kind of give them like my wisdom whenever I can. But you still get a lot of people. But healing humanity helped me. Well, one by winning that free membership. I wouldn't have been able to do. I would have just been on the comments and stuff like that. But that would have been
Mm-hmm.
it. But to hear other people, you know, other people give the advice. I mean, they have so many good programs on healing humanity. I don't
Yeah.
see every one of them, but I've been on a few times. I've been on the Breaking Addictions, which if you are struggling, I do suggest, and you join Healing Humanity, I do suggest the Breaking Addictions.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of take an interesting approach
Mm.
with using the 12 steps, like from AA. Um, I don't really go there that much anymore because the way I look at it is if I can go into a candy store and not even blink an eye, into a chocolate store and not even blink an eye and I can leave and not be tempted,
Yeah,
You know,
you're staying on the chocolate store
yeah,
basically.
I mean, and literally talk to them for like a half an hour inside the store and never ever be tempted.
Mm,
I I think I'm not really. I think I can abstain a little bit more as long as I bring it up. If I can cook meals for somebody else that's not carnivore, I think I can abstain and not be tempted with that either. I think then the only time I really get like out of control, and this is where the breaking addictions probably does help, is like every 3 or 4 months when I go to my family's for the holidays.
mm,
I'll probably have a hard time. I'm not going to say impossible, but a hard time keeping keeping in control.
yeah.
And if I do lose control, I'm going to tell people right now, if I do lose control, don't let it get you. Like if you lose control, don't let it get you down. Just get right back up again, get back on the train and just go back, okay?
Mm,
Stop kicking yourself in the ass you know, because you made a mistake
mm,
and you regret it. I mean, life is too short for that.
yeah.
And a little word of wisdom from, a middle-aged guy. And Um, I mean, yeah, Healing Humanity. I mean, I love Carrie Mann. I mean, it wasn't for Healing Humanity either. I would never have had an interview with Carrie Mann. I would never have gotten the courage to
Mm,
be like, oh, I mean, I literally, he's actually the first person I sent an email to, before all this started, like, like even before January 1st, like when I was just telling I'm like, I got to tell somebody my story because I was watching all these
exactly.
videos from the TV. I wasn't able to
Yeah.
go on. No one knew who I was. No one knew anything. I mean, this is before Target Prime Rib even became into existence.
Mm,
And and one day I'm like, look, like I found out how to get to his email, and I saw it, and I'm like, I think I'm going to send Carrie Mann. If anybody's going to understand my story, it would be Carrie Mann.
yeah.
You know, and so I sent him, and he sent me like, hey, you've been through a lot, you're going through, and all that stuff. And very, very hard, very nice letter.
Mm,
And so I joined. So I started doing the online comments, and I made one comment to him that actually went on the screen that was about his daughter Emma and his daughter Alyssa, but I actually wrote the name Allison. So he made some kind of he made like a funny comment about like it's like like just seriousness, like it's not Allison, it's Alyssa, like something like that. And he laughs now that I mentioned it to him and everything like that. But so I did that, and then I did a contest to win, to win the Healing Humanity Life, and I won. So I got on there, and then throughout this whole process, I won it 2 more times. So in place, I couldn't get the Healing Humanity Life anymore because I'm already a member.
mm,
But then they switched it to a T-shirt, so I got 2 new T-shirts. And I actually bought other T-shirts too. I actually am a Mitch Fit for all
mm,
you Mitch Fits out there. So I have a Mitch Fit T-shirt, and I also have a Bill Knott T-shirt.
mm.
And I just recently bought from Emma Man her bacon, 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 bacon shirt. So I have that as well.
Wow.
So I have five. I have 5 shirts now. Good thing about the shirts is in the carnivore world, I actually went from a 2X shirt to an XL shirt.
Mm,
Okay, my pants went down. Actually, no, I think they went down about. They're at least 3.5 sizes down, 3 notches down on my belt, and my pants are actually starting to fall down even with the 3 notches down. So I think I might have to get a new belt and bring them
oh,
down even
belt.
more.
I thought you were gonna say new pants. I'm gonna say it's too
Well,
early. It's too
yeah.
early. It's too early to get a new pants. Let it hang around for a while.
Yeah, new pants probably would be beneficial. But right now I'm on a like I actually did just start work. I'm going to be starting working next week. Only reason why I'm waiting so long is because I want to have some extra money because I have to take an
Mm,
Uber in order to go there, which is about $30 each way. So I'm hoping that I'm just going to be working 2 days, because in that way I don't lose that much money with the pay. And I am going to be going to a meetup soon.
mm.
My
To
first
Boston.
one.
the Boston.
Boston. Are you going there too, or no? Or you just
No,
know?
man, I'm in South Africa.
That's true. That's true. But that would be exciting if you did go there.
Yeah, it would
Um,
be exciting to get over there.
yeah, and shout out to Lewis. I don't know if you know who Lewis is. Like you should, but he's actually. I'm going to meet him in New York. I don't know exactly where I'm going to meet him, but he's actually driving to. We're driving. He's driving to Boston.
Hmm.
So he offered to do that, and so that's. Thank you, Lewis, if you're here. For that. But so again, even without winning, so many great people on this channel. Aaron Booby Goats has helped me so much with so much advice and stuff. Like, everybody, so much like wisdom, so much heart, like, you just,
Yeah, there's
it's
so much
amazing,
heart.
you know, it's like, I'll be honest. I am like flabbergasted. I am like,
Yeah,
my heart pounds every time I think about how much better life is just because of you guys,
yeah,
and um, I am so thankful, and like I said, that's one of the reasons why I want to do a live, like I was telling you earlier,
yeah,
is because I'm running out of ideas for the videos. and, I,
yeah.
and I thought maybe if I do it, maybe I'll get some like some feedback to kind of like like okay, I'm up and running now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You gotta get out there.
yeah,
Like for
and,
me,
and,
I see
and
the vision is if you're carnivore, you wanna go stand on that mountain and shout to the whole world.
yeah,
This is the healing power of meat. So yeah, I know that feeling that's
yeah. I
inside of
mean,
you,
for
and
me, it's more of like it's more of me like saying, hey, I'm on carnivore now.
hmm,
Look at how good I feel. Look how good I look.
yeah, that's
And
it.
I mean, even if you don't think even if like you're not sure if it's going to work for you or not, my suggestion to you now, I think 90 days is a better number.
Yeah,
Okay, but if you aren't sure and you want to check for 30 days, how hard would it be for you to go 30 days of just animal based? I mean, you don't have to do line. I'm not saying that. You could still eat I'm not saying that you're going to have better results if you eat cheese and stuff like that. But
yeah,
if you don't want to go cold turkey and you just get rid of the vegetables, get rid of all that stuff. But if you want to keep the dairy, all that stuff in the first month, great. And then take it out if you decide that I think I'd be better off without the dairy, which is what I did, sort of. I still eat dairy, but not as much as I used to. But I would do that,
hmm,
you know,
yeah,
and and just see how it helps. But like I said, you're not really going to see many results until 90 days. I think I forget who said it, but I think 90 days is definitely the marker.
yeah. No, I agree. I normally, if I would tell people, I would say your 30 days, then your 60 days, then your 90 days. I even now telling people, let's go a week and see if there's any difference. I even go that way, just to make them interested, because
Yeah,
eating meat just for 30 days sounds like expensive for us
right.
here. It sounds expensive, or it sounds like something difficult. But now I say, for a week, see if anything is different. Yes, we're gonna see some keto flu, we're gonna see things happening,
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, after that week, you're going to see a difference as well and feel different and
right.
sleep
I
better.
mean, I agree with you on that. I mean, yeah, meat is expensive.
Yeah.
But one, if you look at Dr. Barry, you don't have to get the expensive cuts of meat.
Mm,
Even the cheapest cuts, even the ones that are questionable, salami, stuff like that, that probably has the preservatives, probably isn't really your best choice, is
mm,
better than the sad diet,
yeah.
you know. And so if you don't have the money, you need to start off with like going to the dollar store and getting stuff, it's better than the alternative, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now for expense too, like I make jokes all the time. We all complain about how the price of eggs are, but if you really think about it, I think Mitch was right when he said in one of his lives, yeah, eggs are expensive, but if you look at the variety and the versatility of what eggs do, you know, and how many different combinations of meals you can make and all this stuff, it's still not a bad price.
Mm.
You know, and it's starting to go down, and the eggs are starting to go down a little bit. I noticed,
Yeah.
but it's still not the worst price in the world. You know, so you got to look at it that way. You know, like, you know, yeah, you're spending more on the meat, but first
Mm.
off, you're not spending so much money on vegetables and stuff like that, and they can be just as expensive. Okay, and if you're going the SAD diet, you know, yeah, that's cheaper. I mean, I could probably buy a lot more groceries with $50 at Walmart on the SAD diet than I could on the carnivore diet, and I'm not going to deny that. Okay, but what am I saving on medical? If I'm getting rid of my medications in the beginning, probably not, but when you're on carnivore for quite a while, what am I saving on medications and stuff? All that
Mm-hmm.
money that I'm saving because of carnivore makes it worth the extra
Makes it
money
worth, yeah.
that I'm spending.
Mm-hmm. And Tom, I'm just going through some of the
I,
comments
I,
here.
I'm reading as I'm talking, so
Yeah.
you know.
So yeah. Yeah. There we go. Mitch is looking better. I saw a video of him posting that he's leaving hospital. Did he post anything after that?
I didn't see. I saw him saying about leaving,
Yeah.
and I saw
Okay.
the
Then I.
video yesterday. I can't really say it verbatim because I don't remember every
Yeah.
exact word, but I saw. I think he did 3 videos so far. He
Okay.
did one with Dr. Nelson, and then
Mm-hmm.
the 2 other ones.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he sounds pretty. I mean, he does have a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
like his voice isn't like exactly the same, but he sounds pretty good. You know, I mean, he
Yeah.
sounds like Mitch. Is pretty much what I'm saying. He
I've
sounds like
gathered from the video that yes, his speech is coming back, and yeah.
it's
So
yeah. You know,
yeah,
it's
and
probably going to take a while to get the full muscles and everything like that. But even if he's not fully back, he's still Mitch, and we still miss him.
yeah.
And you know, I for one, when he does his next live, I don't care if it's 3 in the morning. I'm still going to get up and I'm going to watch it. You know,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, just Sandy coming in with what can carnivore do? Pain went away on day 2 on carnivore. That's why I say
Yeah.
a week sounds like workable. Um,
Yeah.
um,
No, I mean, thing is I, you know, like as wonderful as that is for Sandy, you know, I think what people do tend, and hopefully people agree with me on this, is they sort of like, you know, they think everybody's timeline is the same, and not everybody. Like I've had it where people's A1C went down within a month, and went down from like 12.5 to like 5.7 or something like that. You know, like went
mm-hmm.
down like really low. And that's great. That's a miracle. But that's not what happened with me. My A1C is still like my baseline's 8.9 right now. It's still going up and down, up and down. Now, hopefully, being full carnivore has changed that. But you know, there's so much healing in the body and everything. And but yeah, my pain subsided too pretty quickly. I don't know about 2 days, but my pain pretty much subsided for the most part. Like I say, I don't have the pain in my back anymore. I can walk now. I can do things a lot more. But so many people, I've heard so many people on these memberships and stuff like that, like, oh, you know, like, why am I not doing this? Because they're going by somebody else, you know. And we should all tell our story. We should all tell.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes people misinterpret what we're saying. You know, they don't look at it like this is what happened to me. If you stay on the diet, it can eventually happen for you.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put everybody on this, you know, like, and that's what kind of sad, because that's why I like think a lot of people give up on it, because their expectations, you know, like I'm not you, I'm not Aaron, I'm not, you know, I'm not Sandy, I'm not Mitch,
Yeah.
you know, and my timeline is totally different than yours,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
you know,
Like I would normally say the N equals 1 experiment.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I didn't even know what that meant until I started carnivore. So there's something else I did.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I normally say what works for me works for me. It
Right.
not meant that it's going to work for you. So yeah, the N=1 experiment. You have a
Yeah.
different body or physical thing. Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, I found out what the definition of that. Dr. Phil explained it on SBG. Basically, it's like every time they do like an experiment, like the amount of people they do the experiment on, that's the number. So like
Yeah.
N=1 would be you experimenting on yourself.
Yeah.
Where if somebody did like an experiment with 50,000 people, then it would be N equals 50,000.
Yeah. Quite interesting. So
Yeah.
Thomas,
Again, learning so much.
yeah, never knew this. I was thinking of going into studying some nutrition and food, but I just wanted to study carnivore. But yeah, there's nothing like that out there for just carnivore. It must be a
Right.
keto or something. So yeah.
Yeah.
So Thomas, one last question. All right. Inspire us. Give us some wisdom. Give us some
Oh God.
Yeah, give us some wisdom. Give us some, what do I say? Empower your plate, enrich your life. Empower us with some wisdom to enrich our plates with
Oh.
for life. I'm just
You're,
thinking
you're
wildly.
la- yeah, I know you're laughing as you're saying this. You're like, look who I'm asking to give some wisdom.
No, you said 3 months journey. What you have gained few things along the
Yeah,
way.
no, I
and
get what you're saying.
you can inspire us. Just
Um,
inspire us.
well, I guess to add on to what I was saying before about the timeline, don't give up. You know, um, I sort of think of carnivore, and actually in the same way, I think of carnivore and insulin resistance as a tree. One being a gloomy tree and one being a nice tree. Now you take your pick on which one's the nice tree and which one's the gloomy tree. And if you look at insulin resistance, so many things stem from insulin resistance.
Mm-hmm.
You get neuropathy, you get diabetes, because it's not diabetes, it's insulin resistance that causes all these issues: heart problems, lung problems, gastroparesis, gout, all these issues, skin issues, all these things are done with the tree of insulin resistance. And then you get the tree of carnivore, and carnivore being the base, really, or like the proper human diet being the base.
Yeah.
And you get all these benefits that are being helped by it. And some right away, some might take a little while. But it's going to take patience to let that, you need the vitamin P, another Ken Berry reference. You need the vitamin P to help it grow. And you need to stay on it, So, I mean, that's my word of wisdom. Don't let a fallback keep you from staying on it. Stay on it. Carnivore is not that hard, And if you do go off it, fine. If you have a craving for like some like green beans or from succotash or something like that, good for you. Or even a chocolate cake, good for you. But have that indulgence. Hit yourself in the back of the head one time and then get right back onto it. I don't need to have it, but if you do, we're not going to hate you for it. We're not going to say to you, at least most of us, I don't think are going to say to you, well, you're no longer carnivore. You're kicked out of the club. I know there are some people that might, but I know personally, I would never do that. And, and so, I mean, like I said, I don't really have much word for wisdom. I wish I did, because so many people on here are so much more knowledgeable, including you, including Aaron, everybody on here has so much more knowledge than I would ever have. So I get my wisdom or my knowledge through you guys. So I guess my wisdom would be there for us to be there for each other, for us to, like why I can spot a troller, because they don't, when they talk, there's no support of the community out there, and when you see a person talking on here, when I see Lori talking, when I see Tanya, the Kitchen Witch 1885 talking, when I see Sandy talking, everybody, Aaron talking, you,
Mm.
I see somewhat of a support. Yeah, sometimes we might say things like I'll say a joke here or there, but it's not to go against anybody. But when
Yeah.
you see somebody on here and they're like, "Well, carnivore is a piece," or "You were really stupid to do that," or something like that, then I kind of like have to question that person a little bit, you know,
Mm.
like not question them to say they're a troll, but just question their felicity,
Mm.
so to speak,
Yeah.
and just be there for each other. That's my
Yeah.
biggest wisdom.
Yes. 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 So yes, I said that was the last question, but this just popped into my mind since you were
Do I
speaking.
do that to people? I
Yeah.
apologize.
This just popped into my mind. The carnival police. Have you ever met them?
um,
Have you ever met the carnival police? Because they the strict people.
well, I guess you could say that one guy that was forcing pizza on me and chicken wings. I guess you could say he's a carnival.
He's a sad
I mean,
police.
he's like of the reverse. And I know there is one guy that's channel name is Carnivore Police. I
Okay.
don't know what his real name is, but I've seen him quite a few times, and I'm sure he's more Carnivore Police of doing the carnivore. So no, I have never met him. Um,
So you never met people in the comments saying, because the carnival police is people that says, no, you're doing wrong. That's not
oh,
carnival. That's the
oh
carnival
yeah. I mean,
police.
I get
Yes.
people that give their opinion, like, oh, you should do this or you should do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
But you know, but I know for the most part, I get that. But I think for that, I think it's coming out of love, if that makes any sense. Like
Mm.
I want you to do, I want you to be as good as you can be,
Mm.
and this is what I do. This is what you need to do. So it's sort of like with some encouragement on there, if that makes any sense. Um,
Mm.
but I haven't encountered anybody that was like, "You're a fool and you're really stupid and you're never going to amount to anything and nothing's going to work because you're doing it all." I haven't really encountered that yet.
Okay.
And I say yet because I'm sure, like when I did Carrie Mann's the video with Carrie Mann, I had a lot of great comments, including I think you had a comment on there too, which is thank you for that. Thank you everybody on here. But I also had a couple of negative comments, and that was the first time I've ever encountered the negative comments.
Mm.
And for me, they were pretty humorous. Not humorous in the way of like, but humorous in the way of like I had one guy that complained. It actually went off the chats, but I still remember it. He actually
Yeah.
said that he wasn't going to be watching this because I went from 379, to my weight, and he goes, "Well, it wasn't 380, so I'm not going to watch this." Like, your 1 pound made a difference for you? Really? Like if I said it
Mm.
was 380, then you'd be watching the whole video? Like, that's kind of idiotic.
Yeah.
And I actually told Dante that yesterday, and he laughed.
Yeah.
And then there's another guy that went on. And I had a few people. It was funny. Like, one guy went on and said, "This is a nice guy, but I think he did this all to himself." You know, And yeah, I agree that, I think we can all agree that we all had the bad diet, and we all did. But most of the diet that we were eating was given the advice from the doctor.
Mm.
If I think for the most part, if our doctors, maybe a little bit of kickback, but if our doctor said if you eat a steak every day, or meat, you probably would be better off. I think the amount of people that would listen is a lot more than the amount of people that wouldn't listen, other than the other way around.
Yeah.
And so we listen to the advice of the doctor, you know,
Yeah.
and at least for me, I did what I did pretty much what I was told, you know, and but I still take responsibility of what happened to me. I'm still the king of I'm still in charge of my own castle, even if sometimes I'm told
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. um, and everything. So, but it's just community is so, so that guy, when he said that, so many people bashed him for it. So I'm just like, I mentioned it to SVG and they all laughed. I said to him, I said, you know what? I'm not going to say any comments back. I'm just going to let the other people bash him and then thank them for the kind words.
Yeah.
And and then he sends another comment like, oh, I don't mean to be mean, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes you just say, sometimes you speak, you don't speak from your mouth or head, sometimes you speak from another area of the body, and you just, you know you know
Yeah.
it's I think you
I
can
get it.
I think you can get the metaphor on that one.
Yeah, I
But
get it. Yeah. So Thomas, it was
amazing.
nice chatting with you.
Yeah,
I
I
know
had a good time.
this is not the normal way of interviewing, but yeah.
You know what? Like I'm very, I guess, unconventional. So if I caused that, I do apologize. I hope everybody had a good time. I had a great time.
Yeah, me too. I've learned such a lot from Thomas today. So
Yeah,
yeah, he's just an amazing guy. Let me tell you that. He's just an amazing guy.
thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. You don't know how
and
much I appreciate that.
and if Thomas ever buy me a coffee, buy him a coffee. Why not? He likes coffee.
I do, and I do have. I do. I actually do. Funny story. Someone actually actually offered to buy me a free membership, but since I already had that, uh, offered to buy me offered to buy me a coffee instead. So far, I've had two people buy me a coffee.
Hmm.
The only one I remember the name of is, you ever hear of Carnivore Penisaur? I think it's called Larry. He's from. I think he might be from Australia.
Penisor.
Like an old, he's like and I might a Penisaur or something like that. I might be
Okay.
pronouncing the name wrong.
Uh-huh. But
But
yeah, I'll check.
yeah, he actually bought me a coffee. The first coffee I ever gotten. So
So the link is
yeah, on my channel, there's a
on
link
your
of buy me a coffee,
channel.
just for that concept.
How bad of me.
But
How
I
bad of
don't
me.
advertise it. Normally, this is the first time I've ever advertised it because I'm not looking for
Yeah,
I'm not looking, like, I'm like old guy carnivore. I'm not going to.
we're not going there. That's basically it. We're not going there.
I'm grateful
Yeah,
for
yeah. No, I know what you mean.
I'm
Because
just
for
I'm just
me,
grateful for all the nice comments I get. I mean, my biggest commenters, I would have to say, is Lori, Sandy, um, Aaron's commented several times. For some reason, I have to, like, kind of do this trick in order to
right
in order
though.
to get
So
Aaron's comments. But
just a question there on your side. Um, I shared your what you call it, your
I
YouTube,
see my channel up on
yeah, your
screen
YouTube
next to you.
channel. And there's buy me a coffee. So for those who want to buy, Thomas says he likes coffee. That's all I can say.
Coffee.
But yeah,
Instead of donuts, coffee.
yeah. But yeah, Thomas, it was just awesome speaking. Let me just see if there's anything else. Thanks, guys. I had one coffee. You know who you are. Thanks, guys. Eden is wonderful. Coffee is a way of saying thank you for your support and your time. Yeah, that's true.
Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate that.
Yeah. But yeah, it was nice. I had a great time.
I did
Um,
too. I thank you for inviting me. You
no,
know,
anytime. You can come anytime on my channel.
yeah.
If I do a live, you can just say hello.
And if we work hard at it next time, maybe I'll be even more confusing. You know,
But yeah, maybe
people
we can.
scratching their head like, what do you say?
Yeah, let me just cancel that so it's off. Yeah. And thank you everybody for coming along, for joining us in the interview. Um, we do appreciate it, for sharing some thoughts and chats and questions. Because without you guys, there wouldn't have been any interesting questions. Because now we know about hot sauce. Yeah, so you guys know what other questions you can keep in mind for Thomas when he gets his next interview. I believe it's next David from DC Learning to Love or DC on his journey
I think I figured it out. It's DC Cancer and Life Journey.
and life journey. Yeah. I know DC as DC Learning to Love.
It
But
only
yeah,
took me a few weeks to figure it out by heart, but I think that's it.
but yeah, I think that is Thomas's next interview, and then future plans. Must I say it, or you gonna say it, Thomas? Future
No,
plans.
you could say it. It probably sounds better coming from you than it does from me, but you know.
Thomas Thomas is looking at Target. Wait. Now I'm gonna mess it up. Target Prime Rib live.
Yes,
Live, and you must look at your channel the 16th of April, correct?
that's the plan. 16th of
That's the
April, I'm gonna
plan.
go
That's the
live,
plan.
and
So
yeah.
we'll be looking forward to that when Thomas goes live.
So have your questions ready. So
Yeah, have your questions. But yeah, I'm lost for words. Thomas, can you say anything before we leave? I'm lost for words.
No, I mean, other than thank you very much for inviting me, and I loved all the people that were on here. I mean, I'm not shocked by all the people that are on here because they're wonderful people, and I knew that they definitely would be here to cheer me on. So I thank you all of you. Um, I you know
Lost for words. Lost for
Yeah,
words.
yeah. I mean, where's like one of the people that are more talkative
uh,
that can fill in the space, you know?
yeah. But yeah, thank you, Thomas. Thank you, everybody, for joining. This is coming from Target Prime Rip to Carnivore Transformer. I'm signing off with my signature signature bye. Like,